Welcome back to Beyond Wisdom, where we explore timeless truths for a more peaceful and meaningful life. In our fast-paced world of constant noise, opinions, and distraction, it's easy to feel overwhelmed. Our thoughts become scattered, our focus slips, and we often lose sight of what truly matters. But across history, great philosophers didn't just think deeply. They practiced ways of seeing clearly through life's fog. Today, we'll explore how their ancient tools for clarity can help us navigate the confusion of modern life. In the crowded marketplace of Athens, a man would stop strangers mid-step, not to preach, but to ask. His name was Socrates, and his gift was simple. He asked the kind of questions that cleared the dust from people's minds. What is justice? What is courage? Are you living the life you think you are? These weren't trick questions. They were a path out of mental autopilot. Socrates believed that the fog in our minds often comes not from lack of intelligence, but from unexamined beliefs. When we don't question what we've absorbed, from media, culture, even our families, our minds become cluttered with assumptions. Socratic questioning is a practice of mental honesty. In a world where everyone has a quick answer, it teaches us to pause and ask better questions. Not to argue, but to understand. This doesn't require a classroom. It only takes a quiet moment and the courage to ask yourself, why do I believe this? Marcus Aurelius, emperor of Rome and student of Stoicism, ruled over millions. Yet he spoke like a man trying to rule only one thing, his own mind. In his private journal, Meditations, he wrote to himself, reminding, questioning, correcting. One passage reads, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." Marcus understood that mental fog often comes from chasing what we cannot control. News headlines, other people's opinions, the future, all of these create static. Stoicism invites us to come back to what's within, our thoughts, our responses, our choices. Marcus called this our inner citadel, a place untouched by chaos. When you feel overwhelmed, you don't need to fix the whole world. You only need to return to that citadel, the place where you can think clearly, without panic. For the Stoics, clarity came not from avoiding hardship, but from steadying the mind through it. The Tao Te Ching, written by the sage Lao Tzu over 2,500 years ago, begins with a paradox. The Tao that can be spoken is not the eternal Tao. In a world of loud voices and endless opinions, Lao Tzu reminds us that truth often lives in silence. Stillness wasn't just rest, it was revelation. In Taoist philosophy, clarity doesn't come from effort, but from alignment. Like muddy water settling when left untouched, our minds become clear when we stop stirring them with constant input. Lao Tzu encouraged a way of seeing that doesn't grasp or rush. When modern life feels like a race, the Tao whispers, "Stop running. Let things settle." You might notice your next right step is already clear once the noise fades. In Taoism, simplicity is not lack. It's the doorway to seeing more fully. In the forests of ancient India, the Buddha sat beneath a Bodhi tree, searching for the roots of suffering. What he discovered wasn't a god or a doctrine, but the nature of the mind itself. He saw that much of our suffering and mental fog comes from craving, clinging, and resisting what is. We want things to be different. We resist what we cannot control. And so our minds become agitated, pulled between past regrets and future fears. The Buddha's answer wasn't to escape life, but to see it clearly, moment by moment. Through mindfulness, simple awareness of what's happening right now, he taught people to return to clarity, not by thinking more, but by being fully present. Even now, when your thoughts are spinning or anxiety clouds your day, returning to your breath, just one breath, can begin to clear the fog. Clarity isn't found in the future. It's here if we look. Confucius, the great Chinese teacher and moral philosopher, didn't speak much about the mind in abstract terms. Instead, he spoke of relationships, duties, and how we conduct ourselves. But beneath his teachings was a clear message. How we shape our attention shapes who we become. Confucius believed that clarity came from honoring the right things, respect for parents, honesty in speech, care in how we move through the world. These weren't just outer behaviors. They disciplined the mind. When we train our attention on what is proper, kind, and respectful, we begin to align inwardly. The mind becomes less restless when it is given purpose. Not a grand ambition, but the quiet purpose of doing what is right in the moment. In a culture of distraction, Confucius reminds us that clarity is often a result of attention, and attention is a form of respect. Epictetus, born a slave and later a Stoic teacher, taught his students that freedom doesn't begin with changing the world. It begins with changing how we see the world. One of his most powerful teachings was this: it's not events that disturb us, but our judgments about them. This might seem simple, but it holds profound clarity. Much of our mental fog comes not from life itself, but from the stories we tell ourselves about life. We interpret a delay as disaster, a comment as rejection, a silence as failure. Epictetus taught that when we examine our judgments, we reclaim our power. We can't always change our circumstances, but we can change what we think they mean. That shift, small as it may seem, is how philosophers pierce through confusion. They challenge their first reaction. They question their stories. And in doing so, they often find a clearer, calmer path forward. Plotinus, a philosopher of late antiquity, spoke of the soul's journey like a climb, not toward success, but toward unity with what is good, true, and beautiful. He believed that the mind becomes cloudy when it's turned outward too often, distracted by appearances and lower desires. But when we turn inward, through contemplation, reflection, and sincere searching, we begin to rise toward clarity. This wasn't a rejection of the world, but a deeper seeing of it. For Plotinus, clarity was not just mental sharpness, but spiritual alignment. In our modern world, we often think faster minds are better minds. But Plotinus would say, a better mind is one aligned with the good. When we seek what uplifts, what heals, and what harmonizes, we cut through the fog by rising above it. Our modern minds are full, but not always clear. In the rush of information, we forget to pause. But clarity doesn't come from knowing everything. It comes from knowing what matters. The philosophers we've explored didn't escape life to find clarity. They entered it with discipline, attention, and deep humility. Whether it was Socrates in the marketplace or Lao Tzu in the mountains, their message is the same. Truth is not hidden. It is clouded. And the fog lifts not when we force it, but when we live wisely, simply, and with care. When do you feel most clear-headed? And what helps you return to that place when the world feels overwhelming? Let us know in the comments. Thanks for watching. If this video brought you value, subscribe to Beyond Wisdom. Until next time, stay calm, stay strong, and stay wise.